Hey friend, Gabriel Kevin here. How are you today? Welcome to our series of music tutorials that hopefully can help you out, assist you in any way you might be looking for, or you may just be like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad I looked at that. Whether you're a beginner just starting out, whether you're highly experienced, or anywhere in between, hopefully you can find something here that will help you out in your recording, in your songwriting, in your mixing, in your mastering, in your production, how you distribute it. Do I need to copyright it? All that stuff. So, a lot of information here. I believe firmly that we're all artists in a community, whether you're 100 miles away or around the corner, that we help each other out. And that's what I'm doing here because I've learned a lot from a lot of great people in the industry that I know or have known over the years, from just friends in bands and working in studios. And one of the biggest ones is trial and error. I mean, I've gone through a lot of trial and error because sometimes you read a manual and you're like, what is, I want to be able to do this one thing, but it's not telling me, or it's just long and I don't want to read that. And then you just keep working and all of a sudden you go, oh, that's how you do it. And then you remember that forever. And that's kind of also things, whatever that means, also things to pass on to you that I've learned. And just like, yes, okay, cool. Now I got that one nailed. So again, I promote a community of artists, a community of musicians. I'm not just a songwriter and a musician, but I'm also a published novelist. I like to say that. Published. It sounds so cool, right? Published novelist on Amazon. Look up Gabriel Kevin. I'm also a published poet. I do my own songwriting and my own lyrics. Always new stuff coming, so you want to subscribe to the channel. It's not just about music, but there's tons of stuff coming out more for tutorials that I'm going to do. Also with writing novels, how to do a plot, how to create characters. And on the music side, what's a hook and how do you create choruses? And if you already know how to do that, cool. And just let's pass it on to each other and put comments in. Let's help each other. Hey, say, Gabriel, hey, you know what? You are right on that. Thank you. Or, Gabriel, you are so wrong. Ha! If you do say something like that, please then give the stuff that makes it right or you think is right. And we all have to be civil. So let's all be civil. And, like it, the tutorial, or dislike it. But if you do dislike, just say, why. And then we can talk about it. So, again, I promote a community of all of us together, working together to make ourselves better and more creative in our art. So these tutorials, I use Studio One from Personas. I started with Pro Tools. I went to Studio One. You'll see that in some of the tutorials and why. Nothing's wrong with Pro Tools, nothing wrong with any of them. It's just personal preference. So just so you know, I use Studio One and use my own songs because they meant something to me, and then I can really dig deep into them and say, this is what I did here to get this here, to get that there, and there it ends up being this. So the journey that I took and that you are taking, I'm assuming if you're watching this or found this, is, you start, if you're a songwriter, you start with your idea and your feeling and something, and it makes you want to write something. So then you write the music, and then you think, I want to record this music, and how do I record it? And if you're just beginning, please look at the tutorials and look at other people's tutorials. This is not the end all and be all and everything. We all can help each other. So you record it, and then you mix it and engineer it, and how I produce it. And we all can produce. I think sometimes we don't realize that we're actually producers. You can go out and get a producer. That's great. But you're also producing, and I'll show you why. How do you master? Years ago, you had to go to a mastering house, which is nothing wrong with that. A lot of great things that I've learned from really unbelievable professionals in the mastering arena. But I master my own music now, and I show you what I do and how I use it, and how Studio One really makes it really easy to jump back and forth and be able to make changes and just learn how to do mastering, and it's always a learning experience. I'm not the end all and be all of everything, and I don't think anybody is. I think we, as a group, as a community, we are. Pass on something to you, really good he's pretty high up in the industry. I believe he's still out of Chicago. And he said to me one time, Gabriel, I learn something every day. And he meant it every day. And I'm like, no, because you know everything. So how can you be still learning stuff? But he was, and I'm still learning stuff. So it's a never-ending journey. And then after you get done the mastering, then you want to distribute it, let the world hear it. But then you got to protect yourself, and you have to copyright it, and you have to learn about PROs, performing rights organizations, and you have to learn about all the different ins and outs of how to market something. So I don't, marketing is one of the new tutorials that will be coming out. So please subscribe, because then you get to I don't even speak French, to see the new stuff that's coming out, and be able to, like, hey, that's pretty cool. That's great. So please subscribe. It helps me out too. Please like if you like it, and please share it, because let's pass it on to everybody and help each other out. When I was in school, I had an art teacher, and this was fine art. So it was painting, watercolor, charcoal, pencil. And I still do some of that. I want to get more back into it, but we'll not talk about me now. And he said something to me that stuck with me and still sticks with me, and I'm passing it on to you. Maybe you've heard this before. So I'll leave you with this. He said that, and it didn't matter what kind of art, whether it was fine art, music, writing, literature, whatever, photography. He said that the work that the artist is doing becomes art when the artist falls in love with it. When the artist falls in love with it. I thought that was awesome, and I do agree with it, because there's a certain point in time when I either write the song or I get to a point where I've recorded it, and all of a sudden I'm like, I love this. I just love it. This is before anybody has heard it. When the artist falls in love with it is when it becomes art. So that's just a thing I want to pass on to you. I thought it was an awesome idea. And now on with the show or the tutorial. Thanks. Have an awesome, great, creative, artistic, beautiful day.